Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael. I'm going to be your host for today's session. We're looking at the Chase Debt View that's available within Customers. Just clear my throat there. The Chase Debt View that's available within the Customers module. Now, the Chase Debt View is not available if you're on the Essentials level of the software. It was mentioned on the sign-up page, but just in case you hadn't realized that, it's not available in the Essentials level of the software. So please bear that one in mind. Just in case you haven't got it, do check the level that you're on. So Chase Debt View, we're going to be looking at the option, how it works, what options you've got available, the benefits of that as well, as we run through the session today. And the session should last in the region of about 45 minutes in total. We've got Jackie on hand as well. She'll be available to answer your questions as we're working through the session. And speaking of questions, a little bit of housekeeping before we do get started. So if you have a microphone, which you don't need for these sessions, it will automatically be muted if you enable it. So you'll not be able to verbally ask us any questions, but you will be able to pop them into the questions panel. Questions panel, you should see it in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you can't currently see that, all you need to do, you've got that little icon, looks like a speech bubble containing a question mark, give it a click, and then you'll see that box in the bottom right-hand corner. So any questions, pop them in there, and either myself, I'll maybe just read them out and maybe run an additional demo, or Jackie will pick that up in the background, maybe provide you with a link to a Help Center article or point in the right direction. There is a handout available for today's session as well, which is minimal because we're hardly using any slides today. It's really, I just want to concentrate on the demo because it's such a simple topic. As usual though, all the detailed steps if you need them, information about options and how you go about using the various areas of the software, it's all available via the Help Center, which you've got available at any time. There is an option also on your toolbar to switch to full screen mode, so I will be sharing my screen for the majority of the session today. So do take the opportunity to use that option as well. It may just make things that little bit bigger just so you can see them a little bit clearer. But we'll get started. Also, after the session today, you will receive a follow-up email. And the follow-up email will contain a number of links. So if you want to register for any of the webinars, which we'll tell you a little bit about later on, or watch recordings, and the recording of this session should be available by the time you get that email. So we'll make that available later on this afternoon. So there will be a link to it if you need a bit of a recap, if you found your sound cuts out, or maybe you get interrupted and you need to leave early. So just watch out for your email. So this is really our session for today, what we're going to be covering. So quick introduction to the Chase Debt View, and then really I just want to run through a number of demonstrations just to give you an idea of the benefits of using that option within the Customers area. Just at the end, we'll explain more about the additional support that's available, just run you through some of those options. And then if there are any outstanding questions, we'll hang around for those as well. We'll keep them coming. As I say, Jackie's on hand to answer any questions that you might have. So Chase Debt View, basically it's an alternative view within the Customers module. And it's great if you work in a credit control function. A lot of the information that you'll need working in a credit control function will be readily available. So we'll see that on what additional options over the standard view that it does give you. Now there is a similar option available within Suppliers called Manage Payments. You'll find these options in the top right-hand corner or the upper right-hand corner of the relevant module that you're in. But we're just going to concentrate on the Customers Chase Debt View today. Then obviously if you need it, you can take what you've learned through to the Manage Payments area within Suppliers. Again, just to reiterate the point, these options are not available in the Essentials level of Sage 50 accounts. Right, okay, so enough of the introduction background. I'm sure you want to see it in action, and we'll have a look at it and just give you an idea of the benefits of what's available. So we're going to work through a number of demonstrations. The communications area, I'm just going to really give you a flavour of that one at the end because it's quite a large area. It brings together a lot of the features within the software. So we'll switch to my screen at this point and we'll start running through some demonstrations. So if I pop into Customers, and the Views option, if you have them available to you, you'll find in the top right-hand corner here. So I've got Standard View and I've got Chase Debt, and it's the Chase Debt option that we're going to look at in the session today. Now, just on the Standard View, if we're looking at a customer, we can see their balance, and we can see their credit limit. And because I've got the foreign trader option enabled on mine as well, I can also see the foreign currency balances as well if you've used that option on the foreign currency that you trade in with that customer. But if you don't have that enabled, you'll see the balance and the credit limit. And that's all you'd see in relation to what's outstanding from a credit control perspective. Beyond that, you're going to need to drill down into additional information. So for instance, you can see we've got a balance here for Fred Bryant as an example. You can see he's got a balance of £120, but it doesn't give us an idea of how long that's been outstanding for, when the invoice was raised, or if it's overdue or not. We just see what the outstanding balance is on the account. Now, switching across to Chase Debt, and you can toggle between them at any point as well, as you can on the supplier side, gives us some additional columns. Now, let me just reset this before we start looking at it in detail. So I'll just reset this back to the standard columns. There we go. So when we first come into the Chase Debt option, we've still got the balance column. We don't have the credit limit listed by default, but we can enable that one if we need it. So we got the balance, so we're in pretty much the same position, but we've got this extra column, what's overdue. So we can see from this point, for Fred Bryant, not only is his balance outstanding, but we can also see that it's fully overdue as well. So I suppose if you're working in credit control, this would be the column you would be looking at. What is it I need to chase? Which customers? Now you'll see there's loads of zero balances on there as well, so we can filter those out, we can sort lists, etc. We'll be looking at some of those options in the session today. Now initially we've got include inactive switched on as well. Now that's quite an interesting option, that one. It's available on the customers list as well. I'm just going to get rid of my inactive accounts. If you've not come across the inactive feature before, do look into that one. You'll find loads of information within the help. So it's a good way of any accounts that maybe you've had it was a one-off transaction, or maybe you set them up and actually they never proceeded any further than contacting you. You were setting up as a customer. You could essentially flag them as being inactive, just to hide the account in the background. Now, before we start looking at the columns and the information it shows, what I want to quickly pick up on is this information along the top. So you've got your standard sort of filter option. So you can go in and you can build your filters. There's a great recording of when Jackie demonstrated that one back in, I think it was before Christmas of last year, when we covered that one. So do check that out as well if you want more information on applying filters. But the beauty of working within the Chase Debt option is that you've got some predefined filters. So if we want to see only customers that have an outstanding balance, for instance, so we'll get rid of all these ones that have a zero balance, we can easily just click it, and it'll filter your list. If you want to see those, maybe those with a promised payment date, again, we can easily filter. So all that's doing is by selecting an option here, it's filling in the filter option for us, which we can go and amend if needed. If we make any amends, it will change the option here to custom. So you can always override what's there. But if I just go back to all, it'll go back to that full list. Now, the other option to be aware of is this due in number of days at the top. So at the moment, and what I'll do just to try and demonstrate this one, is that we've got nothing outstanding on this account at the top, this A1 Design Services. What I'll quickly do is enter an invoice, and I'll backdate it as well. So we'll say, right, rather than just, we'll put it back a month and also a few days as well. So I'll just going to do that on the 8th, and we'll set the due, actually we'll set it to the 9th. So we'll set it to the 9th of August, just so that the due date is now tomorrow. We're just going to enter £100 T1 tax code, so it calculates £20 VAT, and we'll save that. Now going back to the customer list, we can see on this account, we've got this balance of £120. So as we hit the due date of that transaction, so based around your program days, it's going to appear in the overdue column at that point. So any transactions on or past the overdue date, that balance will be reflected in the overdue column. Sorry, I'm just choking there. Right. Try again. So anyway, we'll have a balance in the overdue column. And this is where this little field comes in at the top, where we can specify the number of days. So what we want to do is maybe prepare ourselves and just say, right, well, actually, within the next few days, which customers are going to have an overdue balance? What's going to become due? So this is where we can set this field at the top. So if we set that to 7, for instance, we're looking at any transaction that will now become due or overdue within the next 7 days. And if I press the tab key, you'll see that the balance that we had against this A1 Design Services, it now appears in the overdue column. So this is one of the big benefits of working in the Chase Debt view. Remember, you can always toggle between them. And when you go back to Chase Debt, it should pick up whatever settings you left that as. But you tend to find that most people will just, once you start using Chase Debt, you'll probably just sit within that option rather than keep switching back and forwards between the various views. Now we'll just set this back to 0, just so we're back where we were. And other thing to remember as well, obviously we've got the filters at the top, but we can also sort columns. So if you wanted to see or rank our customers by overdue balance, just click on the relevant column heading. Initially, it will put them in ascending order by value, but if you click on it again, it will put them in descending order. So we can see the customer that has the largest overdue balance is now at the top of the list. That would go for any of your column headings as well. So by default, obviously, it's going to be in ascending order by account reference. But nice and easy. You'll see the little arrow pointing whether it's in ascending order or descending order. So nice and easy to work with that one as well. Other big advantages of working in this Chase Debt view as well is the ability to display additional columns. Now you do have the ability to display additional columns when you're in the standard view as well, and just about throughout the software, whatever screen you're in, whether it's a list of records, transactions, or maybe you're in a data entry screen, you can right click any of your column headings and it will give you a list of the columns that you can show or hide at any time. Now, if you go into Chase Debt and do that, so if you right click, one of the big advantages that you will find that people love this option for is the ability to display the aged information. So we can switch these columns on. So we'll just right click, we'll switch age 30 days on, 60 days, age 90, and also aged older. So what we've now got within this screen is we've also got essentially an age debtors report as well. Remember, we can still apply filters on top, but we can also see from just looking at that balance, we can see sort of what period it falls into. And in case you're wondering, in case anyone's trying to follow through and you're looking and think, well, I haven't got that 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, you've got your aging periods available within settings, customer defaults. You've got your aging tab at the top. So you may well be set to monthly aging. Now, if I switch to monthly aging, nothing changes just yet. I just need to close out of this window. And then if I go back into it, it now changes the column headings and therefore the calculations as well. So you've got a number of options, and this just saves you actually running reports. Now I can still get at that information nice and easily if I need it. I've still got the age debt option at the top, for instance. Clicking into that, again, it will show me that option, and then we can just go into the detailed view if I wanted a transaction breakdown of the age balances. Remember, I've already got the one transaction that's outstanding on there at the moment, but I can see the individual transaction number, the type, the value, what period it falls into, and then I've got the 2 date options as well. And if I scroll across, you can see other information relating to it as well. Chetan, you mentioned there about your 30 days net. So rather than just 30 days on top of your invoice date, you mentioned, can you have it 30 days plus from the end of the month? That is an option that you do have available. So just in case anyone else is querying that one, if you go within your customer record and onto credit control, you can set this specifically for each customer. So in your case, you would want 30 days from the first day of the following month. So yes, that is an option there for you. It would just calculate the due date accordingly when you enter that transaction. Of course, you've always got the option to override that date as well manually when entering a transaction. By default, it would be set, I think it sets it to 30 days and days after the invoice date. I think that's the most common one, but it does obviously vary per business sector. Right, so that's the basic view options that you have available. Now you can set that, another little tip here for you as well. If you go into the tools option and into the options menu, you've got, if I can find it, the startup, the view tab, and then you've got an initial view. So you can actually choose Chase Debt on this list, if I can find it. Oh, is it? Maybe you don't anymore. But you can choose your. It used to be on there. I'm sure it did. Maybe they've changed it. So you do have an option. You know, if you open the software, if you're always going to customers to check your balances, etc., you can set your initial view on there. So that was just tools, options on the view tab. Choose your initial view. Right, let's get back to our customers list. Obviously, we're still on the Chase Debt view. Now, the other one that you tend to find you use a lot of, and a lot of the queries we get will be some of these initial columns. So things like, if I just widen that column so we can see, promised payment. Why is that column just completely blank normally on yours? Follow-up. Why is it blank, or where does the date come from if there is one? And it's to do with comms. So if I go into, see that comms was grayed out there as well on my toolbars because I didn't have an account selected. But if we highlight an account, just double click it, go into the record, you've got the communications tab down the left. And this will, some of this information will actually be displayed within the Chase Debt option. So we'll come back to it in a second. So let's say we're working through that list and who we're going to pick on. Let's just pick on this one, this A1 Design Services. Let's say we've chased them from payment. We want to make a note of that one. So we can access comms, takes us into the communications tab within their record, and we can start adding entries, editing existing entry, delete an entry. Let's just delete the one that's there for the time being, and we'll add a new one. So I'll add an entry, and there's loads of options available within here. So I'm just going to say it was a basic telephone call. I was chasing payment. Tells me what the balance was on their account at this point, the date, our contact. So we'll pick up your username by default. So whoever you've logged in as, can change that if required if you're recording that on behalf of someone else, but it will pick up yours by default. Type the contact type. So I can say telephone made or telephone received. Again, based on these options at the top. I'm just going to say I made a telephone call. The outcome, I'm going to say I made contact. And I was, well, obviously I don't have a promise to, actually should have there, payment promised. So let's say I've spoke to them, they've promised a payment in full. Pop in the amount, the due date. So I'm going to say, right, well, I'm expecting to have that payment by, let's say, Monday. The status, I'll leave at the moment as open. And the credit position, I'll just leave as is as well. And when I save that, save the record, close back to the list, you can see I've now got additional information on here as well. So if you're looking for a list of tasks as well, maybe when you come into the screen, you could also essentially sort them by in ascending order or descending order by follow-up date. So you can see, right, well, what have I got to do? Is there any tasks I've got to complete today? You may be aware of promised payment as well from when you're entering transactions. It's quite common. People have used it in the past, and they've got this. They're always wondering where that message comes from when saving receipts. So, if, for instance, I'm going to do a customer receipt against this customer, I'll just say today's date. I'll say online. I'll leave the X reference blank. We'll say we've received £120 now. I'm going to pay that one in full, and I'm going to save it. And you get this type of message. You have a promised payment of £120 for this account. Would you like to clear the promised payment? So I'm going to click yes, close out, and you'll now see that the Y from the promised payment column has now been removed. So that one, that communication that we'd originally entered, it's now being cleared, that one. But we've still got that follow-up date in case we needed it. If we needed to remove that, again, it's just highlighting the account into comms. And if we need to, we can highlight it, delete the entry, save the record, close back out. And as you can see, it's cleared it. Now, there are loads and loads of options when you get into comms. That could probably be a webinar in its own right, but when you come to add entry, you've got things like the bit obscure, but you've got the telephone timer, so you can, if you're making a telephone call, you charge on that as well. Based on that, you can start it, and when you finish your call, stop it. It'll tell you how long you've been on the call for. You can send out letters by sending letters as well. Maybe it's a debt chase letter, either via letter, fax, or email. It will update your results, and it can update the status of the account automatically as well. So loads of options available within this, but do check out the information within help should you need it. Any additional questions just at this stage? A lot of what you see today will be a little bit of food for thought. If anyone wants to have a play around with that, particularly the communication side, do remember you've got the practice data, the demo data to have a go of. So a fabulous resource for you. So if you want to have a go of it, just into File, Open. You've got the demo data and the practice data. Both will use the manager logon. So just log in as manager, leave the password blank. And demo data has got some information already entered for you to play around with. Practice data, every time you access that one, it will give you the option to delete all the data or choose what you want to keep from last time you used it. Sometimes a little bit easier using practice data if you need to follow something through, but if you just want to have a quick go, a bit like what we've looked at today, maybe have a look at the demo data option. You might recognize some of the accounts in there as well, because we use them a lot on the demos when we run through them. Any additional questions at this stage though? Just want to quickly cover again what we've really just looked at. So the key benefits. So easy to switch to. Just click Chase Debt in the top right corner there. You've got your predefined filters at the top. Have a go of those. Have a look at the due days option. It will give you an idea, if you want to see what's coming up, what's going to be due, if it's maybe your last task on a Friday, what's going to be due in the next 7 days. So what do I need to start chasing? So you can prepare yourself a little bit. The additional columns, just right click, and it's these columns that I switched on, the aged current. I've now got aged, the 1 month, 2 month, 3 months aged older. If you haven't got the monthly option switched on, it will pick up your period aging options. So still be the same. So do have a look at what's available. So quite a few extra columns that you can display on this above and beyond what's on the customers list. If you want to go back to the defaults, just at the bottom, use defaults. Just take a moment there. Obviously, you can, as mentioned as well, you can sort using the column headings as well. So a little bit of food for thought. You've got it available for customers in the form of chase debt. Suppliers, pretty much the same. You've got manage payments. Again, you don't have the due option at the top for that one. You've got some predefined filters. You've got the manual filter. Again, you can show or hide it inactive. And again, you can right click the column headings and choose what it is that you want to display, which information. Right, okay, now that brings us to the end of the plan demos. We can obviously pick up some additional questions in a moment if there are any. Just want to quickly mention, if we pop back to the slides very briefly, quick plug for the Help Centre, loads of information in there. We tend to mention it quite a bit. We can provide some information in the form of slides, but we try not to include too much detailed information because the up-to-date information is available from our Help Centre. So there's support guides in there. You can access webinars, videos. There's options to get in touch with us as well. So do use that. Nice and easy to access, either sage.co.uk/help. You can press F1 when you're working in the software, or on your toolbar on the left-hand side, you've got the Help Centre link as well. Other thing to mention, and this is something you'll start to hear a bit more of in the coming months, if not weeks, is Sage Membership. So Sage Membership brings together a number of benefits of being a Sage customer. You've got access to Sage University, where we host all of our e-learning content, Sage City, there's forum boards, blogs, loads of information on there. You can pop your technical queries on there as well if you have any. And there's also the Sage Masterclasses. The Sage Masterclasses are something a little bit different. They're not software specific. They're not Sage specific. These are masterclasses on helping you to run your business and develop your business. So season 1, which is what we're promoting at the moment, it's all about finding and keeping great people within your business. Now, if you have downloaded the handout, obviously your link will work as well. Otherwise, it's just sage.com/uk/masterclass to access these options. So do have a look and check out what's available to you. Upcoming webinar wise, next week, our brand new topic will be actually not next week, it's the week after, Business Dashboard. A couple of new sessions next week, Sage Membership and also the report library. So getting a bit more from your software, what's things that are included as part of your subscription as well. Other topics we've got coming up, bank reconciliation, bank feeds, year end. We have now rescheduled the charity session. So if you did sign up for that one originally, we weren't able to run it at the time, but we've now got that one booked in for the end of September, and also one of our more popular sessions, the VAT return. The Business Dashboard, where we were running the sessions, myself and Jackie, on version 28.1, the new features that are available. We did mention about the enhancements to Business Dashboard, but we also ran surveys at the time, and the overwhelming response was, I don't use it, I didn't even know it was there. So we are running a session on the Business Dashboard, gives you some top level information, so really simple to use. If you are interested in signing up, just watch out for your follow-up email and it will include the links that you need. Any requests of topics that you'd like to see covered going forward, there will be a little exit survey pop-up as you leave the session today. So if you can take the opportunity just to pop it on there, that would be greatly appreciated. And that brings us to the end of the rather short webinar today. So again, a lot of food for thought. Have a go of it, have a play around with it. Initially, as long as you're not adding commas or anything like that, all you're doing is you're just changing the view and being able to get that information a little bit easier. but have a go. Now, the little survey will pop up as you leave. Shouldn't even take you a minute to complete that. If you can do that, would be greatly appreciated. Any thoughts that you'd like to share with us, feedback on the webinars, just in general, anything and everything, pop it on there. Follow-up email you will receive in, I think it's about 2 hours, because it gives us a chance to put the recording and make that available to you. But watch out for that. It's got the links on if you want to register for future webinars, or if you want to watch a recording of today's session, or even share that with a colleague. You'll receive that, as I say, in about 2 hours' time. Right, brings us to the end of the session. So if you're about to leave, many thanks. Hopefully we'll see you on some others as well. I think Jackie's just picked up the last question there. So if you do think of anything else, you know where we are. Either have a look in the help centre or get in touch with our support team. But otherwise, if there are no outstanding questions, we'll just end the webinar at that point. So many thanks from myself and Jackie. Take care, stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you again.